What up, people? Chris here to do a little post-fight Chavez Martinez, Canelo Lopez. I know I'm late with the vid. Ended up having to do kind of a last-minute show, post-fight show on Blog Talk for the fights Saturday night, so couldn't do it then. And then yesterday I was just really busy, had something to go to, Science of Violence show, and had to do some writing, so didn't have time to do it yesterday, unfortunately, but hopefully it's better late than ever for you guys. As far as the fight cards, I didn't see the HBR, the pay-per-view portion, or the pay-per-view card. I didn't order it. I didn't even bother with the undercard. I just caught the main event on a really bad stream, But I did get a chance to check out the Showtime card live, the entire card. Good card, as expected. As expected, I guess I should say, the Showtime / Knockout Kings card was a much better overall card than the HBO pay-per-view card from what I heard. Once again, I didn't see the HBO pay-per-view card from what I heard people who watched it live and were there in attendance. Outside of the main event, it wasn't that great of a card, whereas the Showtime broadcast, Knockout Kings, was really good. Leo Santa Cruz looked great in breaking down and stopping Eric Morrell, corner stoppage. Really like the way Santa Cruz fights. Mini Margarito in appearance and style, and I'm glad to see he's moving up to 122 pounds. I'd love to see him get in the mix with guys like Mares and Donaire and just see what he has to offer, because stylistically, he is the exact kind of fighter I like to watch. Volume puncher, aggressive, typical Mexican fighter in a way. Very much in the lines of Margarito, Alfredo Angulo, and Librado Andrade, three guys that have been my favorites over the years. So looking forward to Santa Cruz. Fight of the night, Marcos Maidana, Jesus Soto Coras. What a war. I mean, we expected a good fight, but damn, this from beginning to end, this was just a slugfest. I'll say this. I don't know if Maidana's power carries as much up to welterweight, and he had a 140, because I know Cross has a solid chin, but he nailed Cross with a lot of big punches that probably would have dropped a lot lesser, or definitely I think it would have put guys down at junior welterweight. But Cross it up to a lot, kept coming forward, volume punching, went to the body effectively. Actually, as a matter of fact, I like the part where I didn't like when they got points deducted at the same time. I didn't really get that infraction, but I did like when they were kind of getting into it after the bell. You always like the commotion as long as it doesn't stop the fight or cause a disqualification, but I liked that it was getting a little bit dirty in there at times. And it looked like Cross was turning things around in the sixth. It looked like Maidana was starting to tire out, getting frustrated, Cross's body work was being effective. But then Maidana got that knockdown at the end of the seventh and ended up finishing off Cross in the eighth round. I don't think the stoppage was too fast. I think Cross was going to get taken out regardless in that round, so good win for Maidana. Johnny Gonzalez, Ponce de Leon, the only fight of the night I really didn't enjoy as much. It was an okay fight, but it was, after the previous two on Showtime broadcast, it just couldn't keep up the momentum. But I actually thought that Johnny Gonzalez, when it got stopped on a cut, I had him ahead in the fight. Of course, he lost the round 10-8 that he got knocked down in, but I thought he'd won all the other rounds, if not maybe one other round, but at least 4-2. So I was surprised that Ponce de Leon got the decision, let alone by such wide scorecards, but, what are you going to do? I mean, I would probably make an immediate rematch. I think it's fair, but you never know if that's going to happen in boxing. As far as the main event, Canelo versus Josesito Lopez, I think for the most part it went the way we expected it to. Canelo was just too big and too strong for Josesito. Josesito, guy's brave as hell, game. Not going to back down. I mean, he got knocked down second, third, fourth rounds, was on his way to going down to fifth, but every time he got knocked down, he got up and just kept firing back. So much respect to Josesito. Definitely earned probably the biggest payday of his career, I would imagine. But Canelo was just too big and strong for him. Canelo still got to do something about that defense, because Lopez was able to land some shots even after getting knocked down. But they had little to no effect on Canelo, at least in this fight, because of the size disparity. But either way, it was a fun way to top off a really good event. I obviously don't agree with Canelo getting the knockout of the night, but that's on the fans, the Twitter fans, or the fans on Twitter. Canelo's the most popular fighter, so it's no surprise that he got it over Maidana. But I would have given it to Maidana myself. But props to Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya for giving all the fighters on the card an extra $25K, or at least all the guys that got stoppages. I don't know who all got it and who didn't. But great card overall, in my opinion. As far as the Martinez versus Chavez Jr. fight, Gotta say, my stream was absolute garbage. Kept just buffering and pausing. That's what I get for not ordering the fight. But I wasn't going to order the fight. You know, I'm not going to order basically a one fight card, pay-per-view card. I'm sorry. That's the way I looked at this pay-per-view. But yeah, Martinez, you know, should we be shocked that Martinez dominated Chavez the way he did? Yes and no. No, because stylistically, if you believe that Martinez was a superior fighter, then it went as you probably assumed it would. Chavez was a lot more ineffective than he has in the past, obviously. He just looked a little more sluggish, although Martinez, you know, gets credit for that as well, being able to keep him at bay. Wasn't as active, wasn't throwing as many punches, and just couldn't really get on track. You know, Martinez was pretty much dominant for the majority of the fight. Obviously, that 12th round knockdown and near come from behind was pretty damn crazy and epic. You know, definitely finally gave Chavez and the Mexican fans in attendance a reason to get excited for Chavez in there after getting used as a damn heavy bag for the majority of the fight. But unfortunately, it was too little too late. You know, Martinez, I give Martinez credit. Chavez credit for being able to get the knockdown early in the fight where it looked like he had nothing left. And I honestly thought that maybe the corner was going to stop the fight a couple times. So credit to Julio Cesar Chavez for being able to get that late knockdown. But also credit to Sergio Martinez for not only getting up from the knockdown when he looked pretty damn tired, but instead of tying up or trying to run away, he stood his ground. He got caught with a few more really big shots and exchanges as well after the knockdown, but he was able to stay upright and finish the fight, you know, swinging back. So, and I was glad there was no funny business with the decision. I don't see how, even with the late knockdown, you could have gave Chavez, anyone could have gave him the fight. I mean, I would be shocked if it happened in boxing, but come on, there's no way he could have given that decision. Even his fans knew he lost. So, good win for Martinez. Now I guess the only thing to talk about is, should there be a rematch? Immediate rematch or a rematch based on the fact that Chavez did get a late knockdown? I don't want to hear your guys' thoughts. For Martinez, it's probably outside of a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, which I don't see either happening, or possibly a Cotto fight. If Cotto beats Trout, it's probably the best fight out there for him, options-wise, as far as financially. And I think if you're Martinez, you've got to assume you can just kick Chavez's ass again. What's going to be the difference? Chavez ain't going to have any easier time making weight next time around. So, if I was Martinez, I'd take the fight. If I'm Chavez Jr., I don't know. If he thinks that he can get going earlier in the fight and possibly do what he did in the 12th round, do something like that earlier in the fight, and then have more chances afterwards to finish it off, then maybe. But I don't know. I don't think I see much of a difference. You know, on the post-fight show on Saturday, my boy Joe Calix Boxing or Calix Sports on here, he said that he thinks that there's a rematch. It'll be like Librado Andrade versus Lucian Bute 2, where the first fight had a similar ending, but in the rematch, Bute just dominated him. And I could see that happening. Although I don't know if that's what I would actually predict, but who knows. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the cards in general, both cards. If you watch pay-per-view, what do you think about that overall card, Showtime card? Thoughts on any of the fights in particular, any of the fighters? Which do you think was a better card? What do you think Canelo should do next? Possibly, you know, he'll get Miguel Cotto if Cotto beats Trout. I think that's a fight that makes sense. I think he's better off going after Cotto than Floyd Mayweather at this stage of his career. And Martinez Chavez, thoughts on that fight? Do you think there should be a rematch? If you were Chavez Jr., would you want a rematch? I would imagine if you're Martinez, you probably would, but, you know, just overall thoughts on both cards. And what do you think moving forward for any of the fighters? That's it for now. Like I said, we talked about these fights a lot more in depth on post-fight show on Saturday night. I'll put a link to that. It's not just me. It's a few other guys that are on YouTube, D-Style. Calix, my boy J. Paul. So you can check that out. And anything else science match related in the information part of the video. Links as always. That's it for now. Till next time.